Hello, everyone. This is Linda K. Edwards with New Me, New You. And today we're going to be talking about living with fatigue, which some of you know all too well, as far as myself, too. So with me today, I have Mr. Ken Newbill, and I have a pleasure of having him today. I'm so honored to have him to speak with us today about fatigue. But before we start, you know, I always start off with a prayer. So, Father God, we thank you for bringing us here today to discuss these matters and issues, and let it resonate within everyone who is listening here today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So, Mr. Newbill, I
Yes,
am
Linda.
honored to have you here today because you are just phenomenal at what you do. Could you please explain to everyone who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Ken Newbill, the health transformation specialist. I'm a functional nutrition practitioner, holistic health coach, hair tissue mineral analysis practitioner, detox and cleanse specialist, mucusless living diet specialist. I help people heal at the end of the day. And it's a great opportunity to be here with you, Linda. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, Mr. Newbill, I know that I have experienced fatigue plenty of times. Okay. I don't have a great sleeping pattern lately, the last couple of years, because, you know, I'm always constantly thinking. And by the time I lay down, it's like late in the morning and then I just actually get up again early. So if I go down at like 4 in the morning, I get up at like 6 or 7 o'clock, and I'm just like out of it until I actually start, you know, moving around.
Yes.
So what would you advise in regards to fatigue, you know?
Well, the first and foremost thing is your body is not as much of a machine as we tend to think. And I used to be very much like you in that sense. I used to work for like 2 to 3 days straight at a time with no sleep. And that will eventually lead to a crash in the systems of the body. Your sleep is an absolute healer. And we run from it our whole lives thinking that we can try to make up for activities throughout the day or that we can accelerate our potential in some capacity. Yet there's a diminishing return on that. For me, it eventually led to a heart attack at the age of 38. So what we don't recognize is that when we are that high strung, we are burning through nutrients at a very rapid pace that eating will not replace, because eating is another form of stress on the body. Because it's the biggest thing it's the most energy taxing and nutrient taxing thing. Interesting. Nutrient taxing thing that the body does is digest food. So it's kind of like this vicious cycle that we get in. But sleep in itself absolutely must become a priority in everyone's life, because that is your number one healing center. You could be doing everything right throughout the day, eating the right foods, hydrating, exercising, and all that good stuff. But if you don't sleep well, then you won't heal. You won't properly develop. In fact, you will start taking hours off your life. If you would just consider every hour past 9 or 10 o'clock at night that you continuously stay up long and long, and you eat 2 to 3 meals a day, you're taking years off your life. Okay? It's going to shorten you, and it's going to create nutrient imbalances that you will never notice until they become very problematic and they start showing up as all of these various symptoms. For women, that could be hormonal irregularities, inflammation. They can't figure out why they can't lose weight anymore. The libido starts acting funny and going down. Of course, the exhaustion comes, right? But this type of stuff compounding year after year after year after year. And that's what we have to think about, is the compound effect. Where is this leading to? More cellular oxidative damage, right? Lack of mitochondrial function. So at some point, we're going to build up enough oxidative stress in the body to we develop our own cancers from doing this kind of stuff, right? And no one likes that word, cancer. I sure don't like it, but I also know that It's a protective measure that the body puts in place for us not acting right. Because we could just drop dead from the things that we do to ourselves, but instead the body creates tumors, tries to hold it down, may express through some of the glands and the lymphatic system, trying to suppress it for as long as it can to keep you operational, because the body doesn't want to die. But if we keep abusing ourselves, and we know what we're abusing it, because what's the next thing that a lot of people do? So they stay up late, they get up tired, and then they go crank up the caffeine, the sugar, the nicotine with the cigarettes. This isn't ever going to work. This is only going to lead us to an early grave and a semi-miserable existence, because at some point you start to lose that ability to feel recovered when you get up. You're like, well, I'm all right. I had a few hours of sleep, but man, once the sun hits me, I'm lit. I'm ready to go, right? I used to be this person 100%, man. So it takes a lot of discipline to understand that you have time, because you are a master of your own time. That what we're actually doing is diminishing our power within us. A lot of people in chronic fatigue state, and like chronic fatigue is when you've hit the wall for about 6 months, and now you're starting to recognize that you're sleeping. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get to sleep now, but it's not working. You're getting the 6 to 8 hours of sleep and it's not working. You're still waking up exhausted, and all day long you don't really have it in the tank. And then you feel like you want to nap at like 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're trying to patch it all up with caffeine and stimulants, right? And eventually you're just like, I can't think straight. I have a hard time finding the right words to say. I can't pull my words together. But the worst part is a lot of people, they have chronic fatigue, are high performers. These are people that go hard at life. They take care of their families. They're running around taking care of all kinds of people. They're doing lots of different things, but they're not noticing that they're diminishing. Their performance is actually diminishing. They just can't see it because they think they're still that high performer. Meanwhile, the people that love you, that have been always appreciating your support, they're starting to see these little things about you that they haven't shared with you yet, right? So things start to diminish and you don't really understand why. So you might start losing relationships that you had before and not really understand why. Your blessings just kind of seem to start to dissipate just throughout your entire life, because you're really kind of just running yourself literally into the ground. And the interesting thing about getting to chronic fatigue doesn't have to take that long, okay? It could be one season where you've just gone way too far and you've tipped the scales way against your favor. But fixing chronic fatigue takes a lot longer than what it happens for most people, because it requires a lifestyle change. And you're never going to get out of chronic fatigue. I'm a 2-time chronic fatigue victim. Recovery, I know. The first time I got out of it, I was so happy, but I didn't learn from my mistakes. I was like, okay, so I'm good now, right? I ran myself right back into chronic fatigue within 6 months after I recovered. So there I was again, going through it, trying to put myself back together. And then I got real about it, right? Because some of the other things that come along for the ride are migraine headaches, joint pain, inflammation, quote unquote diseases like fibromyalgia. That's a big chronic fatigue envelope of so-called ailments or diseases out there. They're kind of all linked to the same things in a lot of ways. And it really has to do with understanding what is going on at your atomic level, right? When we're talking nutrient balancing and mineral balancing and heavy metal toxicity loads and how that's affecting your glandular system and your hormones and all of this, that part's my job, and that can get kind of complicated for people, but my job is also to help simplify it for my clients so that they understand what they need to do, right? And get convicted about taking the proper action. But because think about it, you can play those games in your 20s, you can play them in your 30s, but by the time you start crossing the late 30s and getting into the 40s, now you think you're getting old. but really your mismanagement of thyself is just catching up with you. So if we're ready to start making a turn or make a change, now you have to undo 20 years of damage.
Wow.
Right? And this is the thing to start understanding is we want to go hard. I'm not here to slow anybody down from doing their thing, but just recognize if you want to be here doing your thing for a long time, you're going to have to develop some new lifestyle habits that are conducive to longevity and youthfulness, or you're going to age rapidly and you're going to feel horrible and you're not going to thrive here. You might survive, but you're not going to thrive. And so you're going to feel old fast. My clients are getting younger and younger, by the way. You know, I have 22 and 25-year-old clients that are chronically fatigued. Most of my clients up until about 5 years ago were always in their 40s and up. But it's something about this environment that we're in now that has changed and changing the game. And people are serially debunked at a much earlier age from, and I think it has a lot to do with how we're raised, because I'll be 50 this year. I'll be 50 in just a few weeks, 50 Earth years. And
Happy early
literally,
birthday.
thank you. But I know coming up, I was kind of born into this low level toxicity of the world, and then it gradually increased. But if you're in your mid 30s or less, you were dropped into the most toxic times in human history from birth. And you've been living in that toxicity this entire time. So your ailments are going to start showing up faster and sooner in life than some of us older folks.
Wow. Well, I know that it's just ironic how one thing leads to so many other things. I mean, fatigue can, like you said, inflammation, just the fog, the brain fog. I know I get that sometimes. That's why I'm like listening to you, like, wow, I actually get that occasionally, especially when I haven't gotten the right rest, and I find myself like trying to catch that word or whatever, but I think that, like you said, that's a life change that you have to do. And
it
it's
has to
important.
happen. And I
It's
think
important.
you hit the nail on the head there. Nothing in this body is operating in isolation by itself. Everything is connected. The thoughts and emotions that you're feeling, if you're the kind of person that tends to be, in some type of anxiety or depressed state, that's taxing your central nervous system and your autonomic nervous system day in and day out. If you're in worry or you're living in fear about money, relationships, etc., that comes at a nutritional value cost, because the body doesn't know any difference if you're thinking you have a gun pointed to your head or if someone actually has a gun pointed to your head. The body doesn't know any different. It's going to respond the same way. And because of that fact, you're going to be leaking nutrients because you're producing all these hormonal reactions in your body on an ongoing basis, and you can't account for it. So you don't realize how hard is my body really working and what does it take to keep it operational. So most illness, we create it ourselves. You're catching colds and flus and stuff like that on a regular basis. Look at your life. How hard are you running? And what are you doing when you pull up to the plate to eat? What are you doing to yourself? And let's be real here, because we are compounding the problem, right? So we're running hard. We want to do all the things. We want to have all the fun. We're going to eat the junk and expect great things to happen. It's not going to. It's going to contribute to mucus and pus, inflammation, and etc. when we're not eating appropriately for ourselves. And then I can't get to sleep. And did I even exercise? Did I get sun today? Did I go outside and get some sun? Did I breathe any fresh air? Right? All of this compounds. And so, again, back to that lifestyle shift. The lifestyle shift starts with a mindset shift. And then the mind from the mindset comes a heart shift. Because now once you understand what you need to do, you have to have the love of thyself to do it. And this is where my job is the best, is helping people actually do it, to love themselves enough to instill the discipline, the habits, the skill sets to take proper action and develop consistency day in and day out to truly live their best life, right? Not the propped up IG best life that as soon as the selfie's over, they falling back down in the chair, tired and exhausted, right? Because that's happening, because that is the state of America today. America's tired. We've been this nation has been put through the paces in the last 3 years with all the various stressors of economics and political ramifications and so-called diseases and viruses that people are supposedly catching and getting vaccinated and all this stuff, and having to contend with the facade of things that have been propped us for us to be challenged with, that we've never had to do before. You know, people were stressed out just wondering what other people are thinking about what they're doing. You know, is someone going to be mad at me because I didn't put a mask on? Is someone going to look at me differently because I didn't, take the shot, or I did take the shot? And we're all getting wrapped up in our head, and we're letting this stuff literally kill us. And that's the intent of it.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up, huh? Ken, it does. It sounds harsh, but it is what it is. Many of us, like you said, we start from a mental point. We have to think about what we want for ourselves to do better, right? This is what this is all about, to be better than yesterday.
That's right. That's why we're here.
Exactly. We can't think about the past and what we used to do. We're thinking about today and what we can do. So, we're going to ask, and I'm going to ask, what are the different fatigues?
Oh my goodness. So know this, there's only fatigue.
Okay.
There's only fatigue. And then there's just levels of severity. So they can give it all the names they want, right? Just like they've given us all the names for different so-called diseases in the body, and 90% of it is just inflammation and the location of where it is. It's been built up this way to confuse us and to keep us running and chasing this one little thing in the body, when nothing works like that in the body at all. Not one thing works like that. So you cannot heal if you do not heal the total body. So don't go chasing the verbiage of mental fatigue, adrenal fatigue, physical fatigue, chronic fatigue. You're exhausted at a cellular level. That's what matters. You're not right. You don't feel well, and you're feeling all these symptomatic issues populating all over the place. Now, I was just expressing this with someone else earlier today about symptoms, that what we feel is a language. The body is trying to talk to you, to tell you what's wrong. And most of us have no clue of how to interpret this information. And even when we think we know what we're doing, 9 times out of 10, we're going backwards, because we really don't understand the language of the body. This is why sometimes you may hear a commercial or see something on the net, and you're like, oh yeah, I think I got that. When they start listing the symptoms and stuff, and then you'll see another commercial and they'll list almost the exact same symptoms, and you'll be like, man, I must have that too. And so if you keep following that trail, you'll have everything, because the body only has a certain amount of methods to communicate with you. So yes, those symptoms are going to express in all these various indications, because a lot of them are following the exact same pathway in the body. And you might express something a little different than me with an imbalance, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't mean it's not real, right? It's happening. And most of these types of symptoms, your doctor doesn't even care, because he's only going to look at your blood work and your urinalysis. He goes, well, pee looks good, blood looks good, you're good. Meanwhile, you're walking out of there still feeling like hot garbage and confused, because you're like, well, am I crazy? Because he's saying everything is good. I don't feel anywhere close to good. I feel like I want to just die. And people really feel like that. People feel like they want to die, like it's so hard. Their heart's fluttering, here and there. you know, they're having all types of headaches and migraines, and they can't figure it out. Meanwhile, doc is like, I'll see you in 90 days or in a year or whatever, and you've got to go on and try and do the best that you can. But we don't have to live this way. We have to investigate appropriately, and we have to look at lifestyle factors. Look at where did you come from? What environment did you grow up in? How did your parents treat you? What kind of trauma are you holding on to inside? How dirty are you inside? When have you cleansed? When have you detoxed? Ever? Right? What are you carrying? How many pounds of mucoid plaque are you holding in your gut right now? How many gallstones and liver stones are you holding in your liver and gallbladder because of how you eat? That's sluggish and slowing your digestive patterns down, slowing down your nutrient absorption, and exhausting you, because a constipated body is an extremely toxic body, because all those toxins from that stool are recirculating around in the body, and your body's having to work harder and harder because the stuff cannot get out. So then you start having skin issues, and you think, oh, I need to go get all these topical creams. And you start putting the creams on, and they're toxic. They're loading more toxins right in you, because anything you put on your skin, you might as well put in your mouth, because it's going in. It's going directly into your lymphatic system, into your blood system. It's getting in. So then,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Ken. How often do you feel that a person needs to detox?
I feel like people need to detox a minimum. Well, I'll say this: people need to cleanse their organs at least twice a year.
Oh, okay.
Minimum.
I thought it was more often than
It's
that.
at least twice a year.
At least twice a year.
But
okay.
I personally do a regimen every quarter.
Okay.
I do a quarterly cleanse. So anytime we go through a season shift, I cleanse my organs, right? Because we need to do maintenance. If you want to keep your body parts, you better maintain them.
Right. It's just like anything
These doctors
else.
are ready to take them. They are so ready to cut on you, and they're good at it. They got robots to cut on you now. So yeah, they're ready. They want to make that money, because surgery is the biggest bill they can give you, next to chemo and radiation.
Right.
So if we want to stay out of their grips, we got to do the work. And we have to start creating a culture around this type of work. And we have to prioritize the cost of wellness. We'll go blow the money on the fattest gear and the best whips. None of that matters if you feel horrible the whole time. And you got to get real about what you're doing to yourself. You know, how much alcohol are you pouring into your body, and you're expecting it to be something, right? How much, and I'll say it, how much weed are you going to smoke and expect something good to happen from it, right? I know people don't like to hear this, because they're like, I got to give up this and give up that. Yeah, you do. If you want to thrive, you do. That's the cost. That's the cost of having an extremely resilient body that's going to stay on the planet for a very long time, like that of our ancestors, who easily lived past the ages of 120, 140 to 150 years old. And they literally still looked well when they passed. We think we're living longer now. We're not living. We're suffering longer.
That's deep. That is so deep, but true. It's unfortunate that it has to be that way, but like you said, you have to want it. It's just like anything else. You want it to survive or to do well, you have to work at it. You have to put that effort in. You have to want to do it. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna cleanse, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna eat right, and then you go right back to the same exact thing, and then want to know why you can't get up in the morning right, why you're sluggish, why you're having, like you said, skin issues and all kinds of stuff. That's why.
Yeah,
we have to
this
take
isn't
better
rocket
care of
science.
ourselves.
Most of this is about stopping the punishment of thyself.
Right.
You have to learn to stop punishing yourself first. Why do you feel the need to punish yourself so much? Right? You can't go and have a good time, maybe have a drink. But no, we want the whole bottle, right? We want to have competitions. Like, eating competitions, like, just really disturb me. When I see people like, I'm going to go in this eating competition, I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? It's gross. right? Outside looking in, you look like a spectacle of some sort, and your body is not going to be happy about what you're doing. And eventually it's going to catch up with you. And we perpetuate this nonsense in this country. This is a matrix. You've got little restaurants that will feed you more food if you are super fat. They're like, if you stand on the scale and you weigh this, then you can get a free big stupid burger, right? Wow. Or half off. This is crazy. The stuff that we do here. It's absolutely intended to keep you on a low vibrational frequency. So
it's funny you mentioned that. I'm sorry, Ken, that about the food situation. Now, this is what I've spoken to a few friends about. You see for Burger King and McDonald's, you see them doing the 2 for $5s and the 2 for $6 and all that. Why not the 2 for $6? Impossible Burger. They're not going to give that to you for 2 for $6. They want you to have the actual price of that burger, to make their sales or whatever. But any health foods, they don't do any of that. There should be a place where there's healthier alternatives doing 2 for $5s or 2 for $6s and stuff like that.
Check it out. See that. There's only one way that's going to happen. You have to put your dollar where your intent is. It will not show up. If you keep patronizing these places, there's no need for them to change. They got your money.
Right.
So as long as you keep coming, but you're still complaining, I wish y'all would do this, I wish you would do that. They're like, here's that burger and fries and Coke. Yeah. Right. Thanks for coming.
Right. We're
gonna see you tomorrow. We know where you're going because you don't want to cook. You don't want to take responsibility for yourself.
Right.
And that's the huge piece of this. Community got to get right. Okay. Yeah. 3 generations ago, we weren't dealing with all this fast food. We ate at home.
That's right.
We did the work. Meal. It was real food, cooked with love, nurtured. It wasn't chemicalized, or those patties are put together by machines. Come on now. There's no soul in that. And all the preservatives and chemicals and the things they won't even tell you that's in to make it addictive for you. It's not really food anymore. That is some type of food-like substance.
Right.
Right? That's kind of like getting a processed cheese food. It's not cheese. It's a processed cheese food. That stuff is like plastic in your body. And it ain't coming out when you eat it. It's going to stick inside of you in all these various places. Body's going to treat it like a toxin. It's not coming out. It's going to build inside of you and grow and fester and cause bacterial imbalances and parasites. We are running around very sick, barely making it, and wondering why I can't find my motivation. I can't find my energy. I can't find my go. Why don't I have the fortitude to actually follow through on my goals? Because all of this is connected. Your mental capacity is diminished. You can take the smartest person in the room and put them on a bad diet, and their intelligence is going to lower.
Wow.
No doubt, for sure. You're going to ruin that intelligence. The people that are truly woke, they are doing the things that we're talking about. They are literally keeping the matrix at bay. Because if you can control this, if you can control the whole, you got it. Everything will eventually work itself out. Because the more you control this, all the things are going to start to repair in the body. And the more repair that happens, the higher your intelligence is going to go. The higher your ability to download code is going to go. This is how you ascend. You cannot ascend missing this step. There's a lot of talk about ascension, but I don't see a lot of people doing the work to get there.
Right. Well, I know for sure, as of today, if I wasn't doing it already, I'm definitely doing it after listening to all this information that you just gave us. I'm sitting here thinking like, ooh, I gotta do a cleanse this week. because you're right, that stuff does stay in your system, and there's no way that it can come out, because it's not, the body can't even
It's sticky.
comprehend it. Like, what
This
is
stuff
this
is
stuff?
sticky on the way
Yeah.
in, and that sticky stuff hardens
Oh,
inside,
sounds
right?
horrible.
It just starts sticking to all of its organs. The body's trying to compensate. The body can't breathe as well. People got asthma and all these allergies. They don't have allergies. They've got malfunction
Wow.
in the body, and it's self-induced most of the time. That's just what you can control. Then you have to contend with what's in your air,
Right.
what's in your water, what's in your skincare products.
Right.
Right? This is when that's when you start fine-tuning, right? And getting into that area of understanding so that you can stop toxifying yourself. So cleansing is organ, to me, I separate cleansing and detoxification. When I think cleansing, I think of maintenance on bodily organs and systems. And cleansing should always come before detoxification. Detoxification is when we're able to mobilize things that are deep within our cellular tissues and release them with some level of responsibility that doesn't cause too much harm to us. Because if we start to release these toxins, we also need to have things in the bloodstream that can bind to them so that they can get out of the body either by the urine or via feces. There's a separation there. And a lot of people like to try to run the detox because they think that word is just everything. Yet people can't make it through a detox because their organs aren't ready. They feel so horrible within the first 24 to 36, 72 hours. They stop, they quit. Most people don't even make it through cleanses. They quit halfway through a cleanse because they feel so much disruption in their system that they think they're getting sicker. But in reality, that so-called sickness is just detoxification symptoms. That's all it is stuff trying to get out of your body. And it doesn't feel good because things are coming out of your head, things are coming out of your lungs, all of these other places in the body. You're like, man, I'm starting to feel cold and shivery. Your body temperature's misregulating for a little bit, but you got to get over this hump. You got to go through this pain to get to the promised land. If you want to get better, you got to go through the fire of change. It's so, so critical. But once you've done it a few times, because one cleanse is not enough. If you've been on the planet for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, you need to be cleansing and cleansing. And the more that you do it, the more that you develop this discipline, the more you're going to see your body reverse age. You're going to start like, man, I'm feeling young, man. My knees ain't crickety no more. My back ain't hurting like it used to. I've been going to the chiropractor for years, right? And all of a sudden you wake up and like, I don't know if I need that guy no more. I feel great. I can move. I can breathe. Man, I don't need the CPAP anymore. Right? How many people you know wearing CPAPs now? They ain't even old. They're handing out CPAPs, whatever sleep study they give. And now they even have a device called Aspire, that's a CPAP you can have implanted in your body.
Wow. I never heard of that one.
I know. And it's here.
And what is it? And what does it do? What does it do? It's been
out for over a year and people are electing for this.
Wow. And what does it do to have the CPAP?
It does the same thing as a CPAP. It's just helping deliver more oxygen to your body.
Oh, the oxygen, right. Oh, wow.
On board, on tap, all day, 24, foreign object inside of your body. Now, we'll have to wait another 15 or 20 years before they say this is causing this problem, this problem, this problem, that problem, just like they have with breast implants.
Oh, that's another topic to go on.
Because our body wasn't designed to have all this. You know, we already had all the parts we needed when we got here.
Right. Well, I mean, this is something like, again, that we're going to keep stressing, is that it's all a mindset and what you want to do for yourself, because we can't make you do the changes. You have to want to do the changes. And that's why we have Mr. Newbill here today to explain to you the things that can happen and the things that do happen to you and why it happens to you. And also, if you can please to let them know what are the steps that they can take to, you know, do better and get better out of fatigue.
Sure, let's give them some low-hanging fruit. Stop eating processed food. Stop eating fast food.
Mm-hmm.
Start right there. Then the next time you go into the grocery store, get fresh food as much as you can afford. If you can't afford fresh, get frozen. If you can't afford frozen, then get canned. Okay, in that order. If you're eating a lot of meat, back off. Give your body a break. Give yourself some fresh vegetables. Give yourself some fresh fruits. Start mixing that in and make it the dominant part of what you eat. If you're on a budget, get beans. Dry beans, not canned beans. Soak your beans for at least 24 hours. Change the water out a couple times, then cook them. That'll get most of the toxins out of your beans. It's still starch. I'm not a big starch advocate, but I know people, we got to eat what we can afford to eat. Okay.
Right.
So there's levels to this game. And so it depends on what your priority is with your spending power and just overall, you know, what your economic status is. You know, we have to ascend to make more money because being healthy costs money. But don't get it wrong. Plenty of rich people are just as poor in health. Plenty of them.
That is true.
So they know not what to do either because they weren't raised appropriately. They're falling victim to the same traps most of us are falling victim to. And just remember, these traps were laid for you before you were born. You were born into these traps. You were born into this system. Okay. So I'm not here to judge anybody because I came up in the same system and I just learned how to navigate it. Right. And that's what we have to do. We have to learn how to navigate it and make better choices for ourselves. You know, you want to eat all the cakes and cookies and ice cream and yeah, you're going to have diabetes. Yes, you're going to have heart problems. Yes, you're going to have liver issues. Yes, you're going to have gut problems and gassing and bloating and all this nonsense because you're putting trash in your body. Your body is not a trash can. Don't treat it like that, you know? And for those people that are God-fearing, where does God reside? Within the temple you occupy.
That is so true.
Is that the kind of house you want? Really? When you walk in and there's dirty clothes over here and socks and stuff over here, the kitchen hasn't been cleaned in 3 weeks inside of you? Let's get real about this. You want better for your children, show them the way. You get right. Stop worrying about your kids until you get right. You got to lead them because the reason your kids are fat and overweight and got diabetes at 8 and 10 years old is because of what you taught them and what you provided to them. It's the hard truth. But no, not many people want to talk about it. I do. I want to talk about it because I want the nation to heal. I want people to get right and rise to a higher level of ascension, like for real, for real. But if we stay here, there's no neutral with this. You're either going forward or backwards. And that's it. And so much of this is just related to how you feel about yourself. And you're thinking about what you're putting in your face. And you're pretending like McDonald's is lit and is the right option. It ain't even saving you no money. That stuff is expensive to actually eat like you feel like you've got something done. You go take a family to Taco Bell or Chick-fil-A or what, you're blowing dough like nobody's business. I can show you how to feed your whole family a family of 4 for less than $10. But will you take the time to go make it? So as long as we want to keep putting the job in someone else's hands to take care of us and to feed us, Don't expect great things to happen for you. Lower your expectation. And I don't care if you're eating at a fancy restaurant. They are all looking for the lowest bidder of food because they're trying to turn a profit. And restaurant business is one of the hardest places to make a profit. So they're going to use the cheapest oils that they can, the cheapest ingredients that they can, and they're going to dress it up and make it look super pretty. Right? So you're going to be like, girl, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Right? Still trash. Still trash. There is no one out here in the restaurant business trying to save your life. You better save yourself. You better save yourself. And I'm talking vegan restaurants too, because they still have to make profit. Is it a better? Are we leaning towards a better option? Yeah, don't stop there. You need fresh food. You need less starch, less meat, and less portions.
Right.
We're eating too much. We're gluttons because we're all eating to feel better. The feeling of satiety, of satiation, eating to feel full. You're just trying to fill your emotional gaps. So yeah, I think you mentioned earlier, like, man, do some people need psychiatrists? And yeah, we need therapy. Absolutely. Stop running from this. We are broken. A lot of people are broken, and food is just another drug for so many of us. There's no such thing as eating without emotion. All eating is emotional. You can't stop that chain reaction of hormones when you eat. That feel-good sensation that lights up your dopamine receptors in your brain that make you want to go eat that same stuff again tomorrow, even though you say, I'm not going to eat that again. I ain't going back there. You be back in the line next day, like, here my card. We're doing it again. We're going to run it back. Because that's called addiction. When you are not able to hold to your word, to stay away from a substance. You can't honor yourself. You've lost the integrity of self. So if you can't be in integrity with yourself, what should we be expecting of you in any other capacity to the rest of the world?
That's a true fact.
But if everybody started making this shift, imagine what kind of world we would have. Maybe we'd be less violent. Maybe people
have less mental illness.
Less mental illness. Yes, a lot of less for greater. And that's the world I imagine, right? That's the world that I'm trying to create, one person at a time. And again, I don't make anybody do anything, but I lead in action based on my own lifestyle, right? And I'm coming from, if you've never seen me or heard of me, whoever's is watching this, just 12 years ago, I had a heart attack at the age of 38. I was 300 pounds. I'm 5'10". Okay. I was in that. I was caught up all in it. Drinking, smoke. I was a big cigar guy, right? Cigars, weed, 3 fingers of tequila every night. And I bought the $100 bottles of tequila every week. Okay. It's going to catch up. You're just human. Do you want to have a catastrophic event to motivate you to go do right by yourself? Or could you be genius? Because geniuses learn from other people's mistakes. So use me as an example. You don't have to go through that. You can start shifting now and start finding your bliss in other ways besides the chemical factory of food and drink and smoke. But you got to be willing to go in and go deep with yourself. And whatever else you're connected to in this world, whatever is your higher power, you need to get connected, because it's going to take all of it to get out of this thing. Because it's everywhere you turn, right? When you start, especially once you think about starting to shift your life, everything becomes hyper focused on you. This is by intent to keep you from getting to the promised land of a new identity of thyself that's going to keep you well for the rest of your life. You're always going to be faced with, I just get so I don't know, not angry, but just, I guess, a little disappointed. And when all this little community Facebook groups in my local area, like different neighborhoods and stuff, and they're like, hey, what they building over here? I hope they're bringing in a new Krispy Kreme. You know, I hope they're bringing in a new Taco Bell. I hope we're so hooked on this junk. We're not even thinking about what you said. I hope they bring in a wholesome, a place where I can eat that's safe.
Right.
I hope they bring in some clean eating opportunities that are toxin free. Ain't nobody saying that. So if we're not saying it, we're not creating it. We're perpetuating the status quo. So don't get angry that it's not in your community. You keep paying them people to be there. The dollar will shift the market. If you stop eating there, they have to shut down. And then they have to start to ask, what do these people want? Because all these people went back home. They're not eating out here in these streets no more. What's going on? And then those restaurateurs will show up and they'll be there with non-toxic food options for you. But we have to be willing to boycott, to walk away, to make a different choice. But if we don't, we're never going to see it. Because it's happening in California. It's even happening in Vegas. Vegas has got some extremely healthy options in Vegas now. So out west, we're starting to see it. But we got a whole country to heal. You know, and I know, listen, at the end of the day, as long as you put the responsibility of your wellness in other people's hands, it's not going to be well. It's never going to work out. You're going to stay sick. So you're going to have to get in the kitchen. You're going to have to get in the grocery store. You're going to have to get to the farmer's market. You're going to have to get uncomfortable and ask questions. You're going to have to do research. You're going to have to learn and grow. You're going to have to make this a priority. What other priority can there be than health? Please tell me. What else is there? Without it, you are nothing here. What, you without health and you've got $5 million worth of Bitcoin? Okay, great. What you gonna do with it? How are you gonna enjoy it? Oh, you wanna buy that car? You can barely fit in it. Man, if it goes too fast, you might have a heart attack from being so excited. So we're chasing stuff, yet we haven't taken care of home yet. We haven't taken care of this yet. We're looking for everything that's outside of us. This is why my motto is that wellness is within you. It's not within your doctor. It's not within that supplement. It's within you, because you have to drive the systemic change in so many areas of your life to truly deliver yourself. Take a look right now at all. I don't know, Linda, how young are you? Do you mind me asking?
I just turned 50 in April.
Okay, look at all of our hip hop artists. They're all swollen, fat, diseased, and dropping like hot flies. And you know it's true. Just take a look at them when they do these reunion tours and these verses, and they get on stage, you're like, oh, wow. You don't look so good. She don't look so good. And we close to the same age. What's going on? So it ain't about the money or the fame. They're doing the same things. They just have more opportunity to hurt themselves more. So they can do more of the stuff it's gonna continue to hurt them. And we've got blood sugar. I mean, we lost Fife Dog, what was that, 2 years ago? God, there's such a big laundry list of guys dropping. We've got to make a shift. There has to be a change, and the time is now. The time is now, because we are literally breeding diseased people. Did you know there's over 250 toxins found in the umbilical cord now?
Wow.
And growing. So people that are getting more autistic, they're just more toxic. We are born toxic now.
Press 1.
Because mama's sure not clean, because she doesn't know any better. So she's making babies. And if we don't learn this cycle of life, we're just building weaker and weaker people. We're building more and more diseased people to feed to the system. on a daily basis. And it's scary when you think of it that way, because when you say baby, it gets real sensitive when you say baby, right? And you're like, oh, my baby was born with this problem and that problem and next problem. Baby was born with a ton of toxicity and mold in their body when they got here, and they didn't have a fighting chance. And then the first thing that we did was we put a processed heavy metal Enfamil bottle in their mouth and called that food, because we are so detached from our breasts and our women, and we just don't want to do the work. They don't want to be inconvenienced to do that mother's work of breastfeeding their children. It's big, but that's it. That's like the starting point right there.
This woman is chosen.
The biggest reason I focus on women in my practice, because if I heal the woman, if I heal the mother, then mother will heal the family.
Right.
We need our matriarchs to step up. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but it is your duty. Not your fault, but it's your duty. It's why we have the duality of man and woman, which the system is trying to shake that up too. We're all so confused these days, arguing over silly things about what to call each other.
Statuses.
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about who's what and where, and not really focusing on the things that matter.
Exactly. We got to get back to the truth. We got to get back to why are we here? We're here to blossom. We're here to learn and experience and grow. There's a whole lot of disconnect these days. Health is just one of those places that if you can get here, you can ascend above all the other nonsense, because your brain will work appropriately. Your third eye will work appropriately. You will have sensory of being a human, and you will start to develop your defense mechanisms. Do you know I can't stand the smell of certain things because they have been out of my body for so long that they detest me and make me want to puke?
Wow.
When you get cleansed, when you get deep within and you start releasing all this stuff and you abstain from them for periods of time, your body tells you that is dangerous. That does not belong in me. I can't even pick up processed food anymore.
Mm.
I know it's so bad for me. I can smell the chemicals in it. Some people their brains light up when they smell it. They're like, oh man, that's a fresh bag of Doritos. Fresh bag of Doritos. Please, there's no such thing as a fresh processed food. That is some stale garbage. Okay, so let's go with this fresh processed food. You pop the bag open, and I use Doritos because that's what I was eating when I had my heart attack.
Wow.
Okay, so I had my hand in a bag of Cool Ranch, and that's when I had a heart attack at about 12 o'clock at night. It was the same day that I had found out that we were pregnant with our first child, and we were in our second trimester. I was freaking out. I was happy, but my little heart couldn't take it because I was up at night trying to figure, okay, what we're going to do, right? I'm trying to plan and get ready. I'm like, we need to move. We're in a high-rise apartment. I want to get out to the wood. I want to get some air for my kids. Now I'm starting to think about my kids. I'm going, man, what about me? Why haven't I been doing this for myself? Right? And that's when I went down. But now when I smell those things, I literally smell toxins. I smell poison. And most of us can't smell it because they do a very good job at trying to masquerade it. Right? Don't you know that geeky scientist person that you went to school with got hired by these people? And that person helps them develop the product in such a way that it makes you want to eat all of it. Mm-hmm. You buy a family-sized bag of Doritos, they want you to eat the whole thing.
That's okay? Like Pringles.
Yeah,
you know, Pringles is like that.
You about to drive through a whole can of Pringles. You're gonna beat that, right? You're gonna go through a whole can of Pringles and be like, I gotta get me another can, right? Because they have programmed the texture, the sound, the smell, the taste, all of it. They've got boards of chemists, you know, to develop this bioweapon against you. And that's what it is. And then they start putting our people on it. So now you got Zap Rap chips with all these various artists on there to influence the younger generation to eat it, and it's still garbage. It is what it is. I'm calling it out. Somebody's got to do it. I'm doing it. Can I advertise?
Thank you for doing it. Yes,
Can I advertise
absolutely.
something?
Absolutely.
So Linda found me in my Facebook group, which is called Fatigue Fixers. Go there and join. Every week I do a live call. We're going to cover some type of health topic or tool or nutrition, some supplement, a therapy, something. We're going to go in. Okay. Come there, get some answers, vibe with me. Okay. That's free. That's my service to the folk. Get there, do your thing, take what works for you, leave what doesn't work for you on the table. Okay. If you ever truly need help and you want to make a change, all you got to do is reach out to me through Facebook, and I'll give you my calendar link and you can book an appointment. The first appointment is always free, period. And it's not a sales call. We're going to talk about what you got going on. We're going to see what's possible for you. What are you ready to do? And if there's a program that I can fit you in, I'll share a program with you. If I can't, I might just lead you to some tools that can help you. Okay. Maybe that's all you can afford at that time. That's fine. Right. And then there's other people out there right now who are listening to this who need real systemic, big time change. They need the whole Ken Newbill and Newbill Health. Everything I bring to the table with life coaching and strategy and habit formation and motivation and consistency and discipline, along with customized wellness plans where we're looking at your gut health, your cellular nutrition status, your DNA levels and what's going on with your DNA and how can that help us course correct. I don't care what it is. I don't care what disease you have. Bring it to me. Bring me your disease. Bring me the name they gave you and let's go heal it. Okay. I just helped a guy hear. This guy couldn't hear for 30 years. Since 1990, this man had Meniere's disease and has been going deaf in his left ear to where it was 90% all gone, and his right ear started going and developed tinnitus. And I know y'all know what tinnitus is because you know everybody got tinnitus now, right? I've been helping people heal tinnitus for so many years. It's ridiculous. Stop walking around with all this noise blowing in your ear. Okay, I know it's annoying. You can't sleep. Your nervous system can't calm down. You're jacked up and angry about it and irritable. Don't even know why you're snapping on people. I'd be snapping on people too. This man had qualified to go to Johns Hopkins for an experimental procedure to help his hearing, where they were going to drill something through his skull and stick a box on the outside of his head. And he was there to pick out the color. But he remembered a friend of his who was working for me that was getting great results, and he called me. In 5 months, that man no longer needed a hearing aid and his tinnitus is gone. And there's a testimonial on it in my Facebook group right now where he's telling you that exact story. So you don't have to take my word for it. And the only reason I'm saying that is because so many of us are confused and we don't know the power that we possess within us to heal thyself. You are absolutely designed to heal. You just got to get right about what's going on with you. And you just might need a guide to help you get there, because going to see your doctor, you are not getting there. You're never going to get there. They're going to lead you down a rabbit hole and they're going to feed you more poison and more poison every time you come. Oh, you got this symptom now? We got some more poison for you. Got that symptom? How about you take some of this? We'll get that little thing to look right on the blood test. Okay. And internally, you sense it's wrong. Anytime I've truly asked a client and they've been willing to reveal, I go, did you really feel like that was a right thing to do when you did it? Did you really feel that in your soul, in your heart, this whole time that this wasn't a problem? Like you've never looked at any of the side effects from all these medications, but because you were in denial, because you were too afraid, because you were expecting that doctor to heal you? Because we got white coat syndrome. That's not a God. That is a human who's faulty, just like I'm faulty. We all making mistakes. Is your cardiologist putting you on the same blood pressure medication he or she takes? Because I get that one quite often.
Mm.
They're like, I'm gonna give you the same one I'm taking. How is the sick leading the sick? Are you taking advice from an overweight, fat, sick doctor? There's a lot of people who are. Why are you taking advice from this person? You wouldn't take advice from that kind of person on the street. You'd make them prove their worth. Show me what you're working with before I start listening to what you're saying. Okay, I'm done preaching.
It is awesome. Thank you for this great, valuable information, because I'm sitting here taking notes in my head like, oh my goodness, I got to do this. I got to do that. I hope that everybody out there is getting that too, because this is some real stuff here. I am so grateful for you to be here today. Ken, you took time out of your day to come here, and that means a lot to me. I would love to have you again, whenever your time allows. I thank you, and I'm sure Facebook and everybody's watching thanks you too, because you kicked out some stuff, boy. I tell you, you got my mind turning, and I'm about to write my list of stuff that I need to look into better for
you reach out
myself.
to me if you have any questions, and I mean that.
Definitely.
Whoever's watching this, reach out, because I know you have questions. I know you have concerns. I know your doctor told you this will never be healed.
Right.
They say this stuff all the time, just because they don't know how to do it. Okay? They don't believe in the power of the human body. They don't believe in the power of the God in you. They're on a different train. You need to shift. I shared this little story on a post a couple of weeks ago. Great advice from my grandfather, God rest his soul. When I was having girl issues as a young boy, he asked me, I'm gonna keep this short. He asked me, well, son, do you have issues like that with multiple girls and that where you pick these girls up from? And I was like, yes, sir. He was like, maybe it's time for you to change your fishing hole.
Mm.
It's time for you to change your fishing hole.
Great
if
advice.
you keep going to the same fishing hole, you're gonna keep catching carp. But if you're trying to catch some brim, if you're trying to catch some bass, you're gonna have to change your lure. You might have to change your fishing hole. Stop going to these doctors looking for a different answer because they don't have one. Stop going there thinking they have an alternative procedure for you when you catch cancer. They have chemo, radiation, and surgery. That's it. They don't have anything else for you. I just talked to a lady last week. Friend, one of my other clients texted me and said, hey, I got someone at a hospital right now. Can you talk to them? They think it's her gallbladder. They want to put her on the table right now and take her gallbladder out. They knew that woman for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, got a blood test, and all they talked about was ripping her gallbladder out. I talked to that lady for 30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, she was no longer in pain. And I taught her what to ask the doctors. And I said, how are you going to deal with this gallbladder? Because, this is becoming one of the #1 elective surgeries in the United States now, right? And they're like, oh, you just take that little gallbladder out, ain't no big deal. Meanwhile, how are you going to start breaking down fats and proteins? Because the gallbladder holds what? Bile.
Wow.
Bile is like a detergent. It breaks down the fats and stuff like a Dawn commercial, right? When it hits that grease, all those molecules, they don't dissipate, they break down so that they can go through the digestive system and be absorbed appropriately. So now you're going to likely be living with bowel issues for the rest of your life and not properly digesting the meats that you're addicted to because they've never changed the problem. They only took away the symptom. And now you will never have another gallbladder. Your body's never going to operate as it's supposed to. Are you ready to do that? This lady was 35. She's got all this life left ahead of her, and she's going to have to deal with all that irregularity for the rest of her life. They do not care about you. They're there to do their job, what they think is right. I tell you this, she still got her gallbladder. I'll tell you something else. She'll be doing a gallbladder cleanse and liver cleanse in about a week. Okay. If you need help on cleansing and things like that, I've got access to some of the best stuff on planet Earth to help get stones out, get gallstones, liver stones, get the mucoid plaque out of your gut. I had a lady release over 12 pounds of mucoid plaque just last week from her body. All this stuff that you think is digesting is building up in your body. All the fried chicken, all the fried French fries, it's all sticking to you. And you're wondering, man, I can't get this last 10 pounds off, right? Even when you're doing right, you're like, I'm working out, I'm trying to eat right and hit my macros, man, I can't get this belly thing gone yet though. What's up? Because your liver is probably this big, full of junk and gunk trying to protect you for so many years. Your stones are building up and calcifying inside of your gallbladder. Your bile is sludgy, so it's not even getting through the bile duct well. And that's the pain you feel after you eat a fatty meal and you start feeling that pain on your right side. Feels a little kind of dull pain there when you eat. Yeah, that's your liver and gallbladder trying to tell you something. Stop doing that, is what it's trying to tell you. Stop doing that to me. Will you listen though, is the question.
Right. I know I'm going to listen. Definitely listen. Matter of fact, I'll call you next week, definitely, on the gallbladder thing, because I do have that issue. And I've had it, I think it was since 2014. It all started with me eating, I had some balsamic vinaigrette, and that kind of triggered it.
It loosened it up.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on, but I know it was painful. And then it attacked me again, but it always catches you when you lay down. So that's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. And you know, the doctors they tried to tell me to do the surgery, and I'm like, but God didn't give me a gallbladder for you to take it out.
That's
so
right.
Guess what? I'm not taking out anything, but what I will do is I will stop eating the foods that allow me to go through the pain. And I haven't, knock on wood, they've been monitoring it, but knock on wood, I haven't had any attacks, but it's not fun. And so I got to talk to you about that.
I got you, sis. Whenever you're ready, just give me a shout. I'll take care of you. And that goes for anybody else here. Get in my group, ask your questions, message me if you want some directiveness directly to you. I don't diagnose anything online. I'm not a diagnosed guy. I help people heal problems. We go to the level to where we make your body an inhospitable place for disease. We help you live longer, younger. We get your energy back. We get your sex drive back. We get your mentality and brain power back. We get your love back, right? You out there feeling all angry and mad, that's your liver. Your liver's jacked up, holding on to all that trauma, okay? There is an absolute better way. There's so many options on this side of the fence than there is on the allopathic medicine side. We have all the power over here. They've got pills, cutting, and that's it. That's it. Why we stop sending your folk there? Stop sending your folk to the hospital for every little thing and start learning how to take care of your body. Because we are literally doing this to ourselves, and we have to stop pretending like we're not. Okay? That's all I got.
Well, you gave us a lot, so we should be so grateful. I'm grateful, and I hope everybody out there is taking this all in, because it's so important. It is so important, and that's why I have Mr. Newbill here today. And I thank you again. I don't know how much more I could say. I'm so grateful for you to be here, because you dropped a lot of gems, lots and lots of gems. And like he said, that you can follow him on his Facebook page. I think I put something on my page, of course, for you to see that he's on every Wednesday as well.
Yes.
You wanna follow him and also watch him, because he talks about everything, and you can't help it but to be like, oh wow, and you might as well get a pen and paper, because he has so much.
Come on in, take what you need, leave what you don't. It's free. I enjoy doing it. I show up every week just to drop it, and I love to do it, because I never know my job is to try to affect one soul a day, right? One soul a day. If this message hits somebody right in the heart right now, right? Think about your parents.
Right.
Think about your friends. Look at the 5 closest friends you have right now and tell me y'all aren't in the same problems, same health issues, right? Just like they say your 5 closest friends will show you where you are with your wealth. Same thing is with your health. It's right there. It's a reflection, my people. Reflection eternal. It's right there in front of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much again
Thank
for
you,
joining
Linda.
us today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed connecting with you. I appreciate you reaching out. And if you ever want me on again, you just give me a shot. We'll make it happen.
I would love that. Thank you so, so much. And everybody out there, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for having Mr. Newbill back at a later and future time. Okay.
All right. Stay blessed. Wellness is
Thank you.
within
You
you.
as well. Thank you. You as well.